last time we were chatting, we were listening to one another intently.
We were. That's right. Yeah.
Which is, to be fair, a first, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah. Bothered to pay attention to one another, given that we're being recorded. So
the other thing we were doing. Sorry to interrupt, but
no. Why? I mean, it's the first time you've apologised for so
that's true as well. That's true, but it's the first time I've interrupted. But the other thing we were doing, we were building rapport with your dog, as I remember, through matching your dog's behaviour and barking at the dog.
We were. I don't know whether we're going to do any dog-human rapport related material today. He's in the next room but one, so there are two doors, both closed, between him and
he'll be digging.
I think he may well be tunneling at the moment. He's gone awfully quiet. I get asked, I'm sure you do too, so often to talk to people about creating rapport when you're going to networking events, when you're meeting clients, when you're networking internally with colleagues, new colleagues, and how you create that excuse me, that all-important relationship and finding that common ground. And you know, with some people it's really easy, isn't it? You know, you just click. You think, oh yeah, I love that. I love a bit of that. I love a bit of that. Whatever it may be, I don't know. But with others, it's harder. So what do we do in situations like that?
Well, interestingly, because in some ways it's quite easy, because all you've got to do is ask questions about them. They love talking about themselves.
Much like
so if you, a little bit like me, so if you ask them questions, oh, what do you think of this? Oh, do you like that? Kind of thing. Oh, tell me what your view on that is. You don't really have to say anything. You don't have to do the work yourself. They'll do all of the work. You just ask that simple question. They'll then spill, and they'll go away thinking, what a great person that person was. They were so interesting and they were so intelligent, even though all you did was ask a few questions. So in that respect, it's quite easy.
So you're telling me it's a bit like being a senior member of the royal family, the UK royal family. Or indeed any royal family. I don't want to be UK-centric about this. I have no doubt that the Norwegian king and queen and the
my favourite people
are just as good at this. But
lovely.
It's that thing of asking questions about somebody else.
Yes. And what is it you do? Yeah, exactly. That kind of thing. What is it you do, Luan?
Well, I was just about to say, are you actually asking me to demonstrate interest, or is this just an experiment to demonstrate?
Well, I've known you for about 5 or 6 years, and and it did. When I asked it, I did suddenly make me think. Oh, actually, what does he do?
If I just kept asking you questions all the time, wouldn't you feel a little bit as if you are under cross-examination? I mean, don't I surely have to demonstrate some sort of interest by maybe asking, relevant questions and perhaps expressing my own opinion about the things that you're talking about?
The questions do need to be relevant. They do need to be genuine interest there. But still, by asking the questions, what you're doing, though, is you're finding out about them, which then does show you where an overlap might be. It will also show you what they're interested in talking about. So you can now talk about that in a genuine way, bringing your own, as you say, your own opinions to it, but knowing, yes, they're going to be happy talking about that because it's they raised the topic, kind of thing.
Well, this goes back to the listening thing as well, though, doesn't it? Whereby you've got to listen and ask questions based, and if you on what the person has just said, and if you happen to have a particular interest in that subject matter, then to talk about that, but not to take over, not to turn it all about, oh yeah, no, me too. No, I not only do that, but I do it a little bit better, actually.
I do it better. Yeah, exactly.
There must be some other sort of, I don't know, subtle. I'm only hesitating from using the word subtle because I don't want this to sound like there are sort of Machiavellian ways of inveigling your way into the trust of other people. But there must be some other sort of subtle ways, because we tend to work with and want to relate to people who we consider to be whatever in our tribe, like us.
Yes, exactly that. And so you're right. And a lot of people have heard about the idea of matching. And matching, it is a way of subconsciously kind of getting the brains in sync. And so subconsciously, this person will be thinking, this person's all right. I like working with them. I like them. And a lot of people have heard about the idea of matching physically, posture, physiology, etc., how they sit, how they stand. And it's true. And there's a part of the brain called mirror neurons, and mirror neurons build the link basically at a physical level between the two brains. And it will get those brains synchronized. It's called neural entrainment. And interestingly, they did a really amazing experiment where they got two people or multiple people, but in pairs, have a conversation. And then they went off to, and after the conversation, they evaluated how successful the conversation was in terms of how much they liked them in the other person, in other words, the degree of rapport, and how much they remembered about the conversation. And the only thing about this conversation was that it was held when they were in an MRI scan. So they were scanning their brains as they were having the conversation. And they tried to see, was there a correlation between the brain scans and whether a conversation was evaluated as being successful? And there was. And the correlation was how similar the brain scans looked. So in other words, the more the brains were synchronized, the more likely the two people would go off and say, yes, I like them, I like that other person, and I remember everything about the conversation. The less work the other person's brain needs to do to communicate with you, and the easier they feel in your presence, basically. So, yeah.
I think there's also something in language as well, the type of language that if we mirror people's language. I was reading only a couple of days ago, doing a bit of research for my book. Did I mention my book?
You're writing a book?
No, did I mention that? Oh no, I haven't read. Yes, I am.
What's your book called, Luan?
You should. Well, no, I couldn't give that away just at the moment. Obviously, I'm on a tight lock and key from the publisher.
Absolutely.
Not to reveal anything at this precise moment. Right. But I was reading about metaphor. If you're speaking with somebody who's I don't know, talking about really using a metaphor, unlock. They really want to unlock a particular problem, and then I respond by saying, "Well, I think the key to that is."
Fantastic. In using that metaphor, unlock, all of the neurology for a lock is raised. That's why they use that metaphor, and it's raised with respect to the issue you're talking about. If you then work with that neurology by saying, "Oh, so the key to that is," it's you're working with their neurology, and obviously keys unlock, and so fantastic. You've got a solution.
That's very good. That's probably quite a good place to stop, I would imagine. I think we've done rather well, don't you? Especially for people who have absolutely zero rapport.
And zero in common. Yeah, exactly.